Welcome to TM3Impact. My name is Tomas Martinez. We are in the TM3 studios. And let me tell you, I've got a buddy here, super pumped. We've got Benjamin Hubbert here. And my man, dude, thank you for making this happen.
Man, I'm happy to be here. Somebody who has taught me a lot in a short amount of time. Great being an EO with you.
Oh, it is.
Happy to be on the program.
Yeah, really pumped. So for those of you that don't know, our TM3 is sponsored by Luxury Home Magazine. Who knew Luxury Home Magazine sponsored it? That's pretty cool. And Spanish Grove Academy, the best Spanish immersion program in the city, darn it. We're working. So listen, Ben, we got to jump right into this, man. You're the owner of Champion AC, founder of LeadHub. You wear a lot of hats, my man. And listen, this is a deal. Tell me your San Antonio story. How did you get here? Cliff Note versions. Go.
So I was former Air Force. I was actually in my former career, right out of high school, joined the Air Force, traveled around the world, did 4 deployments. After my 4th, opportunity arose to come to San Antonio. I went to basic training here, fell in love with the city. It's always been a place that I held in high regard. Yeah. So decided to take that opportunity, finish my degree, and establish my roots here. Started Champion AC shortly after I got out of the Air Force. And it's been just cranking along ever since, man. It's my home. It's my new home.
Yeah. It's such an amazing city.
I love it.
It's an amazing city. Okay, so you go straight from high school into the Air Force.
Yes. Right?
And then in 4 deployments. So you were, how long was your military career?
So I was in active duty 12 years.
Okay.
So, well, just under 12 years. And then I was actually in the Guard for 3.
Okay.
So 15 years. And yeah, I was in a very small career field. Okay. So it was U.S. Air Force Combat Control. Okay. Not a lot of information out there on it. Very small. Yeah. We work hand in hand with the other Special Forces units, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and do quite a bit of high ops tempo all over the world. We go in, take over airfields, call in airstrikes, close air support. Pretty intense, high washout rates through training. And the actual indoctrination course, or formerly the indoctrination course, now there's selection courses here in San Antonio. So that I got the opportunity to move here and be an instructor.
Oh, wow.
In the Air Force.
Okay.
And so great opportunity for me to kind of take a break from the deployment cycles. Got to really figure out who I wanted to be when I grow up, got to finish my degree, and, I decided my time was up. I had my fun in the military, and time to move on.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. Now we know how you got to San Antonio, military, and thank you for your service. Really appreciate that. My father was 23 years Army, and so that's kind of my story, how I ended up in San Antonio, the military.
Military City, USA.
Military City, USA, that's right. And so now I want to go back. We're going to take a real trip back. I want to go back to young Ben. I'm talking middle school Ben. I mean, for people that don't know, you have 2 pretty amazing company. I mean, massive, amazing, do a lot of great work here in San Antonio. And so what was young Ben an entrepreneur? Like what was that young Ben like in middle school?
Young Ben was an absolute entrepreneur. I was a wild card though, man. I was borderline uncontrollable.
Okay.
So I used to sell candy at school.
There you go.
It started with candy.
Was it the blow pops?
It was a little bit of everything. I mean, I was that guy. I had the jacket pop open, and I've got all the, I had Sour Patch Kids,
the Sour Patch Kids,
the Lemon Heads, and the anything real sour, where I'm from really which is Gulfport, Mississippi. Okay. I got that country grammar. You might hear it every now and again. I got a little country grammar.
I love it.
But yeah, no, I've sold candy, transitioned into baseball, football cards. And that was my business. So
tell me about that.
So I was just like you. We talk about sports a lot. I was a huge sports fanatic. And at that time, that was kind of the peak of the valuation of a lot of the sports cards.
Yep.
And so I used to really study every Beckett magazine. I understood all the statistics. I've always loved numbers. That was the one subject I loved.
Yeah.
And sports it just fit.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I could make money doing it. I even studied. I would open boxes and boxes and try to find trends of where the certain cards were. So when I bought a certain number of boxes, I used to be able to tell friends, "Hey, go buy the fourth pack down on the left." Oh man, I was into it big.
Wow.
Big,
so this was all through middle school, through high school?
No, I slowed down. It was big in elementary school. I started early. I know you asked middle school. I started early, but it went all the way through, and then it kind of slowed down a bit in high school when I started really working. My first job was working at a Toyota dealership, getting make-ready cars, getting them detailed before they went out and sold. So I did that. Then I shucked oysters. I said Gulfport, Mississippi. Shucked oysters for a while, did a little bar backing, and
you were working day one, like 15, 14, like in terms of just, you went out there and got a job. You got done with the baseball cards and you started working.
I was raised by a single mom.
Okay.
So she worked nights, worked so hard. I saw her work ethic early, and I wanted to get out and help her. I saw her drive, and it inspired me to put in that work. And so, I was ready to go. I knew I needed to step up for her and for my siblings and help pull my weight.
Are you the oldest of your siblings?
No. I've got an older brother.
Okay.
He's 2 years older, and then a sister who actually works with me at Champion, who's 2 years younger.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got a younger sister that's 17 years younger.
Yeah.
So 4 of us.
That's awesome. So now, so inspiration, going back, looking at the inspiration and in terms of like growing up, who was that inspiration for you? It sounds like mom was a big part of just, and I may be speaking for you, but tell me, who was that for you?
So mom was huge, but I have to give some credit to Coach Campbell.
Okay.
He was actually my pre-calculus, calculus, prior to that trigonometry. One day, actually multiple days, I would sleep in class. I was just not focused. I thought I was being raised without a dad. I was all over the place. And so one day he pulled me aside and kind of got a little rough with me and got a little intense, and he woke me up. He finally, a father figure type guy, communicated to me and said, "Hey, you're going to go one of two ways. You've got all the opportunity and the smarts to do big things, or you're going to go down the wrong path, and I want to see you do right." And he said it a little more intensely and a little, he even pushed me up against the locker a bit.
Oh my goodness.
But Coach Campbell, one of my favorite all-time people, I got to get back home and go see him. If it weren't for him, I would not be the man I am, and I wouldn't be the dad, the business owner.
Yeah.
Incredible guy. He did a lot for me, and so I attribute a lot to him.
That's pretty killer.
Yeah. I've never made a B since that day.
Really?
I've never made a B since that day.
What grade were you in again? Remind me.
That was 10th grade. 10th grade. That was young Ben. I was still young Ben, and he kind of flipped that switch and made me. I grew up at that moment.
So imagining that situation doesn't happen. I mean, things could be completely different.
I don't think I joined the Air Force. I continue to be very selfish.
Yeah.
I probably still start a business, but still live back home, even though I'd really disliked. I didn't dislike the people in Mississippi. There were a lot of great people. I think it was just for me, I needed more like-minded people around me and opportunity and to feel that drive and inspiration.
Right.
And so I think I would still possibly be there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be, who knows? Heck, I might be in jail.
Yeah, that's so intense.
He really pointed me in the right direction because I was making a lot of bad decisions at that time.
And he could see it.
He could see it. I mean, I would show up morning of school and try to wing it all the time, and it was that person that snapped me into place and said, "Hey, you need to wake up," and he woke me up.
Yeah, and it worked.
And now I want to do that for other people.
Yeah.
In life, that is one of my drives now, to be that Coach Campbell for others.
That's powerful, man. I love that. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. And is Coach Campbell, is he back home still? Do you know where he is?
So I believe he is in Oxford, Mississippi, or somewhere near there. I know he's a big Ole Miss fan. He could still be on the Gulf Coast, Biloxi, Gulfport area. I know he's had a few different teaching jobs in and around Mississippi, but he is a world-class human being, but he is also very well known in Mississippi. I would think teachers, coaches, students, every student who has ever been in his class, they all remember him. He is the one you don't forget.
Yeah.
And I gotta make that time though. I haven't been home much. When I do, it's really to see family. We stay in contact on social media.
With Coach?
Yeah.
Oh, get out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Coach
awesome.
Is on. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got to make sure he hears this podcast.
Right.
Just to get that, because when you know you've had an effect on someone's life like that, like, man, that just, it's powerful. And just, I know you and I know what you've accomplished. I can only imagine how proud he is to know that was the moment. That's a pretty big deal, man. That's powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I owe so much to him. And obviously my mom is another big. My brother was always there. My younger sister she would do a lot of things. She was so mature for her age, and she would always keep me in wanting to do right when I had opportunities to fall out of line. There were so many people along the way who've lifted me up when I've fallen.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some great friends, obviously.
Right.
But Coach Campbell, he's that one moment where I can point and say, that was, he woke me up. He snapped me up and said, get it together. You've got opportunity or you're going to waste it. Yeah. And it sank in, and I don't want to waste it. I do not want to waste my time. Yeah. You and I talk about this too. We're kind of on that back nine. Yeah. Time is our most valuable resource.
That's
I
right.
don't want to waste it. And he kind of helped me understand that concept.
Yeah. To step up. I love that. Okay. So you get out of the military, right? And you decide, I remember we talked about this because I was thinking, like, you decide you're going to start a business, but you didn't know what you were going to do. You knew you wanted to do service, if I remember the story correctly, right? And then you decide, you know what? Someone mentioned AC. They remembered HVAC, and they mentioned it to you. Like, man, have you thought about that? Because you were going to do something else originally, right?
I wanted to get into solar.
Solar, that's what it was.
That was what I was most interested in, energy efficiency. I wanted to make an impact on our energy consumption. Like I said, when I was a combat controller, I worked with teams around the world, and the one constant I would hear from them is, man, you guys are energy hawks. You use up so much, and it's just something that when you look at the world, America, we waste a lot, we consume a lot, and it's something that is important to me. I like the energy efficiency industry. Yeah. But timing, as you know, is very important.
It's very important.
And 12 years ago, the incentive wasn't really there for the homeowner.
For solar.
Yeah, yep. And so I met a guy actually at a poker tournament.
Okay.
And he was the general manager of Will Fix It at the time. And we started talking. He was in the HVAC industry. Okay. And that's how Champion AC was born.
So after this conversation, you're playing poker, you go, okay, no more solar. We're doing AC now.
It took a while. It took probably 4 or 5 months before we had just said, okay, we're going to do this.
And you did it with him?
I did it. Yeah. We were partners. We went in together, and yeah.
That's stinking cool. Yeah. Yeah. So now you get in, and I would imagine it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? Like you get into something. Man. How many trucks did you have in the beginning? One. It's just one truck.
One truck.
So you start off with one truck.
I was actually still in the Air Force when we started.
Get out.
So I would go in and set up the home shows on the weekends and go hand out flyers, go not door knocking, but actually door hangers or whatever we could do to just get one call. And it was always that one call, one opportunity. And we just started attracting good people. We really from the very beginning, we focused on bringing in people who kind of fit with, the core values that I wanted to instill in the company.
Yeah.
And so, it's tough because the HVAC industry is very different. I mean, you've got all walks of life. And so over the years, that has been one of my main focuses is bringing on the right people and taking care of our customers and evolving so we can deliver quality service and put reliable, trustworthy people in their homes, because your home is that's
you don't want just anybody walking in your home.
No.
Right. Okay, so I think this is interesting for most entrepreneurs, and we have people that, from real estate to entrepreneurs, business owners, and I'm always fascinated because I think for some people they see Ben and they see your commercial, right? And they see, oh my gosh, like it's so easy for him, but they don't know the beginning story. So tell me one of those like heartbreaking, like this is how hard it was, so that you understand being an entrepreneur. It's not the fairy tale that you see on Instagram, right? It's hard. So what's one of those moments where you were like, this is how hard it was?
Man, I have hundreds. Literally, I'm like bouncing around thinking, because there have been so many times where our payroll was due and we are waiting to get paid, and we're extended on our credit, and we're using credit cards to just help us get to the next day. I mean, we're trying to buy time. And for years, it was like that in the beginning. I mean, I wasn't even taking a payroll. And I was still just putting it all in, going all in, making sure that we could sustain and build a company that could eventually, be something special.
Right.
But the one moment that sticks out is we were kicked off a project site.
Oh, really?
And it was a big job. And we had the wrong team on it, and we had made some mistakes. I mean, I got to own, when you mess up along the way, you got to be real about it. You got to own it. I was more focused on marketing, getting the next jobs in. I was doing less of the operations, watching the jobs, going in and ensuring that the quality was there. We were spread thin, and that portion of the job wasn't getting done. And it was actually like a $300,000 job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And but to be honest, we deserved to be kicked off.
Right.
We did.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have taken the job to begin with, but I had no idea how we were going to figure it out.
Yeah, so there's a paycheck just gone. I mean, that could be, a third of the revenue for that year. That could be a massive
This was a long time ago too, so it was not,
it's not recent. Yeah.
It's a big chunk of money for even, now huge.
Yeah.
So there comes a point in time in most business owners' life where they think, should I just do it? Should I do it? Should I take the easy way out? Should I quit? And that word, man, it just doesn't work with me. Just being a combat controller where, when I went through, it was like 90% washout rate. That I can't do it. I can't quit. If I start something, I have to see it through. I have to be, I have to be stubborn about it. Yeah. And that's part of, what makes people, I think, different, in that 2 out of 10 that make it, 8 out of 10 small businesses fail. 2 out of 10 make it. Who are the ones that will not quit when the going gets tough? Who is going to be stubborn about it? Who is going to work harder? Who is going to learn from their experiences and not make those same mistakes repeatedly? And so I decided to learn from it and not let it define me.
I love that. So is that number right? 8 out of 10 small businesses fail.
Yes.
Holy
and small
cow.
businesses are defined as companies, I believe it's 15 million and under.
Yeah.
Could be 25, one of those two.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually 25 and under is a small business.
Yeah.
And so 8 out of 10 fail. Yeah.
Wow. So that, I think, again, business owners that are listening, I think it's really important to understand. I know for me, when I started Luxury Home Magazine, there are days where you just go, what did I sign up for? Like, what did I do? Right? I mean, we just had breakfast not too long ago, and you get a call during breakfast, and you're like, really? Yeah, I mean, it's just, there are times where it's really hard. And so what is your go-to like thing to help you decompress? What is your go-to, I don't know, relaxation, something that helps you disconnect so that you can get ready to attack the next day? Because quitting is not an option.
No.
But sometimes you've got to take that time to decompress. What is it for you?
So for me, it's overall health, and I do a variety of things, and it'd be tough for me to say one. I mean, I have an infrared sauna at my house. You know, I believe in sauna. I meditate. I try to meditate every day. I read as much as I can. But for me, physical health, the stronger I am, the stronger I can be for the people around me. So like you, we talk about, doing some triathlons this year. I like to swim. I like to run. Well, I actually don't like to run, but
Nobody does.
I do it because it's good for me and I feel good when it's over.
Right.
Cycling, lifting some weights. And then just that kind of all-encompassing. I like to be outdoors. I like to go on a trail run. I like to stretch, occasionally squeak in a yoga class, do anything that I can that's going to make me feel better. I've also really started focusing in on my diet, learning a little bit more about DNA, food allergies, food sensitivities, things that work well with me, things that don't. Do CryoFit. I try to, I've seen the ROI when I invest in myself and my health and how much better of a dad I am, how much better I am for my family, my wife, my friends, my employees. And so that it's tough for me to say one because I bounce all over the place like I'm
all-time favorite. Which is the one that's a favorite, you think?
I would say all-time favorite. It's probably the most successful one is meditation. Meditation for me is probably the best. But just working out in general is my favorite. The best results. Meditation. It's hard for me to shut off my mind at night. Right. It's tough when you have, a couple businesses and you've got so many people. We got 75 plus employees, a lot of conversations, a lot of things. Turning it off is not that easy because I have to go home and be dad. I have to go and be a husband. I have, I've got to be a brother, got to be a son, got to be, all these things. And man, it's a lot. And so having that time to myself to kind of shut the mind off. I've got to also mention floating, sensory deprivation. That's something that I actually have one tomorrow. I'm floating tomorrow. So
I need to get it done. I need it.
I am better in meetings. I am better in those moments where I'm needed the most if I'm doing things like that.
So just for everyone that doesn't know what he just mentioned there, sensory deprivation tank, I just trust Ben and I on this. You have to experience this. You have to do it. The benefits, I mean, they're amazing, but there are some rules, right? And if you go in there with a lot of caffeine, you're going to be in trouble. If you go into sensory deprivation where you're really amped up, you kind of got to go in tired. That's one of the things I found.
So one thing that I like to do is I'll get a massage before I go if I have time. And that is a great way to calm your mind, to get in that relaxation state. Because if you go in and you've got work on your mind, you can't shut it off and get to that. Because what you're doing is every day we're sitting right now. This should be comfortable, but there's still pressure. There's still pressure on our hips. There's still some things going on in our back. But when you're zero gravity, you're completely, there's zero energy being wasted. There's zero pressure anywhere. And there's really nowhere else you can get that.
No.
So unless you're in space
you
and
go
you're
to
just
space.
floating.
That's right.
Which, hey, that's not too far away. It looks like Elon's working on that.
You're going to make it happen. All right. So the interesting thing is you start Champion AC, and what a lot of people don't know is you figured out really quickly this internet thing. You figured out like this internet thing is not a joke, right? This is the real deal. And so that kind of led to the idea of LeadHub. Now, it sounds, if I remember the story correctly, you kind of started tweaking, and then you were like, wait a minute. Once you started figuring some things out, we could actually help other people with this.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that and your founding of LeadHub.
So when we started Champion, my former business partner really was all in on the phone book, and I didn't see it. I had moved in from Seattle. I'd been using Google search engines for years, and this was back in 2007. Okay. So this was still new. There was not many companies advertising. Really no competitors. We were the first AC company to do Google AdWords in San Antonio.
Really?
The 7th largest city in the nation. We were the first company to do Google AdWords. Okay. So I had figured out a few things, started looking at hiring some companies, and realized very quickly this industry was really new. They didn't really know much. And so we ended up building a website, and it just kind of turned on the floodgates.
Oh, it did?
I mean, because 2008, big recession, economy was bad. Not the ideal time to start a business in 2007. Right. But being that we were positioned online, we grew exponentially every year. It allowed us to make a lot of dumb mistakes along the way and still get through. So basically, we figured out some things pretty early, what search engine optimization was, how to get your website to rank. And, a lot of the things that we did then don't work now. You actually can get penalized for some of the things. So it's evolved a lot over time. But we did a really good job, but focused on user experience, made the website really advanced for, making people's lives easier. I mean, because that's, as an entrepreneur, my job to either disrupt an industry or to position myself and do something. I've got to solve people's problems. Right. I can't just come in and say, oh, look at me, just call me. I'm going to, we have to solve people's problems. We have to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. Yeah. And so that was, everyone was scrapping over the phone book, and I said, I do not want to fight there. There's some big guns in town. For me to compete, I have to think about the future. And that's what we did. And so we ended up, started getting calls. Hey, could you help me? How did you do this? What's going on over there? And so it just...
Other service industries.
So buddy that owned a water softener company, a window company, just started getting some calls, and we, that's how I started LeadHub.
Yeah. And what year was that?
That was, well, it was actually initially named Beacon Internet Services. That was right around end of 2009 to early 2010-ish. Okay. And then one day I was thinking about the name. I really didn't like it. Beacon was we used beacons in the Air Force, and not people started calling us bacon. It was just kind of,
that ain't gonna work.
I was thinking, time for an update, and the name LeadHub, lead. My last name's Hubbert, so.
Okay. I thought it was something else. Okay.
So we kicked it off, and have we still have our first few clients that started with us. They're still on. Our retention is incredible. We've got an unbelievable team. We're up to right at 16, just looking to hire one more, so about 17 employees.
That's awesome.
Doing some big things. We're more focused on home services, but we do work with attorneys. We've got assisted living facilities. We work with a variety of different verticals.
That's killer.
Yeah, man. It's a great business. Web development, search engine optimization, and social media management, all of the above.
And so I would imagine, again, we're both an EO, right? Entrepreneurs Organization. And I would imagine that you figured out, because as you built Champion AC, you said it right from the beginning, it's hire good people, right? And so now you go into, you're like, wait a minute, we've got to look at this aspect, and we're going to create our own, engine, LeadHub, and it's all about good people. And so talk to, how do you find good people as an entrepreneur looking to hire? What is that like for you? How do you do that?
So I was being in the Air Force, being in special operations, right? It's a needle in a haystack. I mean, you've got a huge washout rate. You seeing all the problems that we had recruiting then, it kind of helped me cut through some of the clutter and identify, when I would meet with people, I had a good feel for whether they had that kind of staying power, whether they were in it for just the short term or they really cared about the customer. And so since then, we've started using Culture Index, which Doug Christian, one of my favorite people as well, love that guy. He's taught me more about myself in the last 3-4 years than I had learned in the previous 10.
Wow.
Incredible. It's something that we use to identify people's, who they are, what their traits are, what their personality. DISC is great for, communication, knowing influencer, but it doesn't really tell you how you feel, what things make you feel, the emotion behind things. And so Culture Index has allowed us to really minimize mistakes on hiring, because when you hire the wrong person, sometimes that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
It's better to not hire them at all, or just not have the capacity, than to just fill a seat with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So Culture Index, I'm a huge believer, but we follow the method of 3 interviews minimum.
Yep.
And we really try to be very critical at those times, because our customers are what they're everything to us.
Yeah.
With that being said, my team, I focus on my team first.
Yeah.
I take care of them, they take care of our clients, and that does work. But we're constantly looking for ways to improve it, because we need more people. Recruiting is one of those things that it's kind of grassroots too. It's all hands on deck. So we go after it. We do, we use Indeed as well. We use Monster, but we use Culture Index is really what weeds out the wrong hires.
Yeah, before they even get on the team, on the bus. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim Ferriss, Tribe of Mentors. He wrote this book. These are last couple questions, right? He wrote this book, Tribe of Mentors. And what he did is he asked the same 11 questions to people, and he sent it out to them. And then he took all their answers and he made this monster book. And he called it The Tribe of Mentors. Here's what all of these amazing people in these fields, what they say based on these questions, right?
Right.
And so he had 11 questions, and everybody answered these questions differently. But I always like to pick a couple of these at the end of the interview to kind of, just keep you on your toes,
I like it.
And I didn't want you to know beforehand. So you ready?
I'm ready.
First questions. All right. So you have LeadHub, right? You have Champion AC. You are the our form moderator, right? You're the member, right? Chair.
Membership chair.
Membership chair of EO. And I'm sure I'm forgetting 10 other things, right? Like you're a dad, right? You're married.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Pretty much, right? But this is the question. What have you become better at saying no to?
So the motto of our forum, actually, the year before, or a couple years before you and James joined, was just say no.
Okay.
The one thing I read several years back was the difference between the most successful people in the world, massively successful people, and then just your successful business owners, is those people almost always say no.
Yeah.
Now, you can see by the list you just read, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress.
Right.
I'm constantly looking at myself in the mirror and making sure I'm not overextending or saying yes to something and not delivering, right?
Right.
Because that's always a fear. You don't want to Roger up and say, yes, I'll be the membership chair like I am now. And I have a list of 10 people I'm still trying to follow up with, because it's not only my schedule I'm working on their schedule too. So there is that flow, that rhythm. But I would say what I've gotten better at saying no to are, I don't feel that I have to get to every email. There's a lot of people who contact me who are trying to sell me marketing, who are trying to sell me this software, whatever. And I used to feel obligated because they email, someone sent me something on LinkedIn or whatever.
Yeah.
I know I've got to get the big rocks first.
That's right.
So I've really kind of focused to my strategy on get my top 3 done.
Yeah.
Then I've got, with LP, I'm trying to knock out 7.
Yes.
So in a day, and sometimes there are a lot of distractions. I chase, that butterfly.
Hell yeah.
It's natural for me.
Oh yeah.
But I've gotten a lot better at saying no if it's not in what I'm doing.
I love that. Yeah, and I know the conversations I have with agents, the conversations I have with entrepreneurs, business owners, is that they allow I can allow, and this is something that I struggle with, is that I will allow my email to dictate my schedule. And that's like one of the worst things you could do is your emails cannot dictate your schedule. You need to have a schedule before you even open up your email. And that's something that I'm working on as well. Last question. All right. Tell me something that, some unusual habit, maybe people don't know, maybe something that you enjoy, or something that really brings you joy that maybe other people may not know about.
Something that brings me joy that, I'm a pretty private person. So I think there's a lot of those things, but something that I want out of life is to one day I want to go and be either a math teacher or a coach. So when I get to that point in life where I can retire, I want to be that Coach Campbell. I want to be able to go in and make an impact, right? It's one thing to profit and create a great company that selfishly I get to benefit from. And what am I really doing for the community? You've got to reflect and think about that. So I want to be more of the multiplier kind of mindset and give back in that way. It's tough because you look at the world and there's so many people that need help, and it's like you want to say yes to everybody, and it's tough. But at the end of the day, you've got to be you, and you got to be your best you. And I think I know where I can be most impactful. And so I want to get to that point and be, either in that classroom or helping multiply other nonprofits and being able to kind of bounce around and helping them reach their goals and learning about their goals and learning about, the next generation of entrepreneurs, the next generation of our workforce and, dads and moms and try to be there and do a small part. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to, stretch myself too much, but I definitely, I love math. That is one thing, statistics, numbers. It's what I enjoy. Right. So I could see myself, and my wife's a first grade teacher. Yes. So hearing her talk about it, there's some bad days sprinkled in, but she loves it. She gets so much satisfaction out of making a difference. Yes. And you're in the education world as well. You were a teacher. You went to school for it, master's. In education. Yeah, I wanted to be a principal. You wanted to be a principal. Yeah, so I wanted to be a principal. That's our future. That's our future. It's easy to get wrapped up in our problems and what's going on right now. But we've got a whole generation, ahead of us, and what can we do to pave the way for them? I love it, man. So future Mr. Hubbert teacher, calculus teacher, just math, high school, middle school. Which one would you rather, middle school or high school? I'd probably, middle school is where I think a lot of youngsters are in that trouble. Can I go one way or the other? But I think I would enjoy high school math a little more, but I'm pretty open-minded. I think I'm going to stick with, it could be elementary. Who knows? I might even want to coach and do both. Right. We'll see. I'll tell you what, elementary is one of the, it was so much stinking fun. It was like being on stage every day. And I'm sure your wife will tell you, it's one of those things where you just get to perform and pour into them. And so that's really cool. I don't think very many people would know that about you. I appreciate you sharing that. And Ben, I want to thank you for being on TM3 Impact. This was a lot of stinking fun. Thank you so much, and appreciate everything. Where can people find you at? If they need AC, if they need LeadHub services, what would be the best way to do that? So it would be to visit our website, championac.com. Also, you can check out our Facebook page on Champion AC. We definitely have a team that cares. We're really customer service focused. And then LeadHub, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for web development or internet marketing, digital marketing services, leadhub.net. We also have Facebook, page, social media. So you can check us out there.
Awesome. We'll definitely put links in the YouTube and our podcast. My man, thanks again. Great to see you, man.
Great to see you,
It's time to get
man.
that float in tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm
Take
ready.
care.
I'm ready. All right, man.